Do we have
Royer?
We do.
Hoyer.
Joining us right now on the. Hey, how come we don't have do we have our guest line sponsored?
I don't know.
We need to sponsor. Let's make one up. For your Fairlife Milk Hotline. It's the healthy kind.
Okay.
All right. The analyst for your Sacramento Kings, Kayte Christensen. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning. I actually think that my sponsor should be Mucinex.
Yes, Katie has been going through. She denies this, but she's been going through her once a year horrific cold / whatever it is. To be fair, so is the entire team.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
She had it. It was the onset was last week.
And,
so are you in recovery mode now?
Yeah.
I thought I was in recovery mode, but
no.
this is taking longer than I thought, for sure.
That immune system, not great. How many hankies did you pack for the trip? For those who don't know, Katie is a hanky person.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up in the boonies.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Well, I brought, I think, 6, and I've already washed like a full, thing of them. So, yes.
Washed on the road?
Yeah, I had the same question, Jason. How does laundry work on the road?
Well, with hankies, you just wash them in your sink and you scrub them and let them soak and rinse them and then, hang them to dry in the bathroom. They dry really fast. They're a little stiffer than when I wash them at home. But
are you questioning the procedure?
I fully admit, and also knowing Katie, I'm sure she uses really hot water. She probably uses a ton of soap, and I acknowledge that I'm sure they're clean when she's done. Also, it just sounds like they're not, though. Like, it sounds like you can't get
stiff because when you air dry them, there's no, fabric softener or anything.
See, the rest of the audience thought you.
Me, they're very clean. Yeah.
Everyone else thought you were saying stiff because they're the leftovers.
Yes. No, it's not.
All right.
Thank you, though. But yeah, thanks for checking. Make sure that I'm not just completely disgusting.
We care about you, Katie. Here, you're not just a guest. You're our friend and an alumni of this station.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
I am.
Proud
yeah.
alum.
Oklahoma City, 1 through 30. Approximately, where would you rank it as far as favorite places for you to visit when you're on the road?
It's not. Listen, it's not terrible. It's a cute little city. It's not. I mean,
Oklahoma City. It's not terrible.
That's like when I say, if I say to somebody, "Do I look handsome in this picture?" That's the exact tone and response. Well, I mean, you don't look bad. You look fine.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. The hotel's great. We've been here for a long time. Obviously, we've been here for several days, so. You get bored after a while. It's always very awkward to have multiple days off on the road. The Kings practiced the last 2 days. I went to both practices and film, and you just try and fill the time. But it does make the trips feel longer. But no, I mean, literally, the only place that is not like that's a complete drag to visit is our next stop tomorrow. So
yeah, Memphis. Home of FedEx.
Yeah, Memphis is probably the least favorite, but
Eric
we're there for less than 24 hours. Yes, right. Eric, I will see Eric, but it will be brief.
Yeah. Jason?
Yeah. Well, tonight, Katie, when I heard that Sabonis was going to be out, I thought, okay, I'm sure it's the ribs finally, but it's knee soreness? It's not even.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that.
Yeah.
His knees are sore.
So, yeah, I don't know, if it happened during I don't know. It's been a rough start to the season for him. I mean, he is someone that has been so available for the Kings over the last, couple years specifically. But, he started out the season with a hamstring injury. At the end of training camp, missed the first game, and then the ribs happened, but it was like the ribs and the shoulder, and now it's the knee, and I just feel like he has been limping his way through the first few weeks of this season.
Well, the Kings have been limping their way through the season as well, literally and figuratively. Yeah. You've played professional sports before, Katie. I imagine not every team you played on was a championship team. I'm sure you have gone through similar stretches.
I have, yeah.
How do you keep from going insane?
I think that every team is different in their mentality. I think this is obviously, a rough start for them. The schedule has been absolutely brutal, and it hasn't done them any favors. And then, you look at the injuries and the time missed and all that. But, listen, Oklahoma City has a million people out. Memphis as well has had problems. San Antonio's out. Everyone has issues with people missing time. And, you can look at it as a time for people to step up and have an opportunity. It's about your mentality and how you approach it. But they've had two really good practices coming into today. This is the third time they're seeing the defending champs, which is thank you, NBA. What a gift. But yeah, it's you got to go into it and try and, for the best of your ability, forget about record, forget about, past games, and just try and figure out a way to develop some kind of rhythm and momentum.
Kayte, I want you to you got your analyst hat on, also put your, coach gloves on. You said something. I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. I hear this a lot. You said the Kings have had a couple of good practices. Yeah. What are some of the ways to define a good practice as opposed to if you have had a good practice, that would mean, I would guess, you could also have a practice and maybe a bad practice. What are you looking for to define the difference between a good and a bad practice?
A good practice to me is just the kind of the vibe of the players. Are they together? Do they feel kind of down? Are they letting, kind of the situation kind of drag them down a little bit? But they've been together. They've been having fun. There's a lightness to it. The one thing that has surprised me about this team is that the amount of communication, when they're going over the scout and talking about how they're going to do things and so on and so forth. There's a lot of open communication between the players and the coaches, which is great because they're trying to understand, but also the coaches are accepting and looking for feedback, right? Because at the end of the day, you can make a scout on how you're going to defend certain actions, but it's the players that have to go out there and execute it. So you need feedback from players, and they do a great job of communicating with each other and the coaches. And to me, that's a positive thing, right? To move you in the right direction. Because if it's kind of you just go out there, they go through the scout, no one really says anything. It's okay, what's the level of investment in this? That doesn't tell me that there's a high level of investment when you just kind of walk through it, go through it, and it's move on to the next. There's conversation, there's, a lot of feedback, and there's communication.
Really good answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kayte, you brought this up earlier, and you're spot on this as far as the way the schedule has delivered the Kings. We knew it was going to be tough at the beginning, and it has been. I was telling Dave this earlier. I think there's right now 11 teams that are under 500, Kings being one of them. So 10 others, and they've played one game against a team that's in that group. Now, I'm trying to find the balance of, there's a benefit of, or a thing against them of playing a really tough schedule, but they're also not playing that well. It's probably a combination, but I'd be curious if the schedule lightens up, is it as simple as that, or what are they missing to not get some of these wins even against good teams?
Oh, my gosh. I think it's kind of something different every game, right? Their shot-making ability has not been great. And let's be honest, the NBA it's a shot-making league, And you look at, the games are running together on me, but it was recently, and it's you're good through three quarters. I think it was in Minnesota, actually. They were great through three quarters. They shot the ball well. They defended. They were solid defensively compared to what, we've seen kind of throughout different games through this season. They were executing the game plan well. And then, at the end of the third quarter, it's their shot-making ability just went away. And then the fourth quarter, they just could not. They were getting the shots. The offense was creating the type of shots that they'd been getting the whole game, and then they just weren't falling, right? And if you go through slumps where you're 2 of 11 or 2 of 15, I think at one point is what it was going back to the third quarter, it's really, really hard to to be able to come out with a win, right? Because you needed to have built a lead that can substantiate and get you through those lulls offensively. And every team that you face in this league, they've got 3-point shooters, and the Kings 3-point shooting has not been something that can sustain them, throughout the course of 48.
Kayte Christensen joining us. Kayte, Keegan Murray, it sounds like he will be back for the your favorite place, Memphis, to take on the Grizzlies. We all have our ideas, but run through for us just what Keegan will bring to the team and how they might look a little bit different with him in the lineup.
Well, I mean, I would say he's maybe their best and most versatile defender, so that helps a lot, in the sense that defense has been an area where they've had gaping holes, and a lot of that has to do with, people being out, Keegan being one of them. Domas has been out. You've had Malik Monk miss games. So it's like when you're stringing together, gosh, you guys, I've lost count. How many different starting lineups have we had? I think 13 different starting lineups. And what are we in game 15 or I've lost track, but I think there's only 2 starting lineups that have been the same and only for 2 games. So when you look at that, I hope that he's able to bring some stability. He joined the team in Oklahoma City, saw him this morning at film, obviously not playing today, but, he's in his practice stuff. He's going to start going through some stuff. The tough situation that he's in coming back is you can work out and do cardio and all that as much as you want. You can shoot, you can get shots up, but it is certainly not the same as game conditioning. So, Doug is not a guy. It's like if you're available, you're available. There's no minutes restrictions or anything like that. But he's going to have to legitimately play himself back into shape. And you've got to hope that, his rebounding is something that, the Kings have been pretty abysmal when it comes to their effectiveness and getting boards on both sides. And so that's something that Keegan can help with, his defense, obviously, and hopefully he can kind of, step in and provide some shot making as well.
Kayte, their best rebounder is out tonight in Sabonis. Eubanks, Achua, Reynaud, how do they attack this one tonight?
Honestly, rebounding has to come from everybody. I mean, you can't rely on Domas to be the only one that is, down there doing the dirty work. It has to come from multiple people. And I think that that's something that, has really stood out to me this season is, you look back at a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say, one of the big conversations with this team, and the roster hasn't honestly changed that much. It's not drastically different. It was about the crash zones and getting on the offensive glass. And it was a huge stressor, and they did an excellent job at it. The lack of offensive rebounding to me has been really, stark. It stands out to me quite a bit. And I don't know if it's because they're worried about getting back and, defending in transition. But, when you've got 1 or 2 guys maybe going to the offensive glass, that's tough. That's really tough to be able to, come up with extra possessions and easy possessions, right? Because a lot of those offensive rebounds, those are the kick out threes that you get. Those are the, finishes around the rim that you get. So I would like to see more of that. I think that's something that Keegan can help with. He's been, one of the better, offensive rebounding players outside of Sabonis over the last few years.
But also at the same time, I would imagine you'd agree, things are really bad right now, win-loss wise. The team's struggling. I would imagine, and everybody's different, I would imagine there will be quite the ramp up for Keegan's not. I imagine Keegan will not be rejoining the team and instantly going for 34-12 with amazing defense, and the Kings win every game by 20. My guess.
No.
Mike.
No, I think that this league is a little bit more competitive than that.
Yeah. Now, you all right?
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
As you can see. Yeah.
Well, listen. Let's be fair. As we're in the 20-minute mark, I'm going to be fair here.
Yeah.
I feel like, Katie, for I think you've done a really good job. Whereas your voice and your coughing may be present and struggling, I feel like your energy's been really good this morning.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
I've had 3 cups of coffee.
We're not doing American Energy. Sorry, go ahead. Oh,
3
3
cups.
Oh, my
Wow.
gosh.
Three
It's
cups
a
of
3-cup morning?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a 3-cup morning so far.
Are we doing straight coffee or are we doing like mochas and stuff?
No. I don't know if you know this. I'm really cheap. When I'm at home,
When
I
you're
don't go out
when you're
and buy
decorating your
coffee.
house.
Yeah.
Please.
No. I'm pretty basic. The coffee that's in the meal room suffices just fine. Little cream, a little sugar, and I'm golden.
Yeah, a lot of people. I don't know how people would know this. We saw this when we were in Portland a couple years ago. But a lot of times, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Katie. But when the player, when everybody goes on the road and there's the hotel they all stay in, they have like a conference room or whatever set aside for all the players and staff and everybody. And they got this whole like breakfast layout omelet. They have an omelet station there this time, Katie.
They have omelets. It's like a egg station, so you can get your eggs any way you like.
Scrambled.
Omelets. They have a pancake waffle station. They got a lot of people to feed. They do it well. Yeah.
And they got you could have like a super healthy breakfast. And I mean, they've got some pastries and stuff. But then makes you wonder. They get this per diem, right? It used to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it used to be at the beginning of a road trip, everybody get like a manila envelope, and you'd have a bunch of cash in there, and that's in poker games. Now I think it's no fun anymore. It just goes on the check. But even your per diem, you got at least 2 meals a day covered, Katie, if not 3. I know they do dinner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, geez, Dave.
What? People want to know.
Yeah, they provide they provide a lot of food, and a lot of it is the timing, right?
Yeah.
It's being able to eat with the team is new for us. It like literally in the last 3 years is something that has come about. It came about with Mike Brown, where he allowed us to eat meals with the team, but also like film sessions, practices, like all of that kind of came when Mike Brown first came to Sacramento, and it's stayed. Now, listen, I will say from like my standpoint, like going to like taking the time on like a work day where you've got, all this stuff going on and planned throughout the day where you got to get, I've got to work on my game boards, you go to film, you do all this stuff, like finding time to go out somewhere, and it's different in every city, and find something to eat can be time consuming. And that's just with me. The players have so much more stuff that they do throughout the day. Like yesterday they had an NBA league meeting right after practice. That was a mandatory meeting. So they have so much stuff planned and scheduled for them. Like they have the room for the meal room, but they have a whole room that is the training room set up. They have a whole room where the coaches meet. Like they take up, it's a large footprint, and you are pretty throughout the day. You are scheduled, there's something going on all the time. So yeah, they provide meals for the players throughout the day. Not always on off days. It just depends. If they practice, there's meals. If there's something scheduled, they provide meals. And then, there's food before the game. There's food after the game. There's food on the airplane.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, you have to be very careful about how much you're eating because you have this mentality that's so ingrained in you is it might be 1:00 in the morning, but you may not, when are you going to eat next?
Right.
What are they going to have in the hotel? So yeah, you have to be a little careful about that. If you're the media people, right?
That's great football. That is great food analysis right there. That is right up the alley. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kate.
So glad I could provide something useful for you guys.
Oh, that's not what we said. Hey, feel better. Maybe have
Thank you.
Maybe have some some fruit. Have some oranges. Vitamin C, Katie. We're all pulling for you. I
have so many vitamins pumped into me at this point, and I would like to know, does it matter?
No. Well, it's a flip of the coin. But we'll look forward to seeing you 5 p.m. our time, a little bit before that, obviously, for the pregame, right here on Sactown Sports and, of course, NBC Sports California. Have a great rest of your trip. We'll see you back here, and thanks for joining us. Have a good call tonight.
All right. You guys take care.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And, of course, I don't know if this is a fact or not, but George Karl actually had everybody eating in separate hotels. They actually were he wanted everybody completely spread out. We'll take a break when we come back.